Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking in today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful gathered or pleated turban cap with double roast design attached on it. If you are just viewing for the first time, you are welcome to our YouTube channel. Please kindly subscribe to our channel before leaving, and if you have already done so, thank you so much. The materials needed for this design include raw silk fabric, of which 1 yard will be more than enough, although you may have to join your fabrics at some point, your accessories for embellishment, as well as your gum, your measuring tape, your needle and thread, as well as your scissors for cutting your fabrics. This particular design we are working on has the band, it has the base which is gathered and pleated, and it has 2 rows designs on it in front, and these designs can be styled in different ways, either to the right, to the left, or to the middle part. And the fabric we are using for it is the raw silk fabric. Now you can achieve the turban base with any other fabric, but for the rows you really need the raw silk fabric to be able to get that exact look. Now moving on to the fabric and their measurement. The first piece of fabric I have here is for the band, and it is 4.5 inches for the width by 21 inches for the length. 4.5 by 21 inches. The reason being that the raw silk fabric is very stretchy. And then the next piece of fabric we're having is the fabric for the base, and the length, which is the head circumference, is 26 inches, while the width is 20 inches, 26 by 20 inches. Thereafter, we have the fabric for the rose design. I'll be needing 2 different pieces of fabric for the 2 different roses. The measurement is the full length of your fabric, which is anywhere between 57 to 60 inches by 9 inches for the width, so 60 by 9 inches. So right here I have the fabric for my base, which I'll be pleating and making the gathers on, and as you can see, it has already been marked. So what I did was to get my ruler and my chalk as well as my measuring tape. Now I just placed my ruler on the fabric and ruled it out. But first, the width of my ruler is 1.5 inches, because you have to ensure that the interval between each line or each space is uniform. So you just place your measuring tape 1.5 inches, mark and rule out, mark and rule out, in that order. However, to save you the stress of using your measuring tape to do it one after the other, I just got my ruler and then just went ahead to mark it out immediately, and that is what I have. So the next thing I'll be doing is that I will get my fabric, I'll be folding each marked line down, and I'll be sewing it one after the other from one end of the fabric down to the other end. So I fold my fabric, pick the next marked line, sew down, and continue doing that until I get to the end of the fabric. So at this junction, I have my fabric already sewn. This is the front view, and I'm flipping it over. I have the back view neatly sewn. Now, as soon as this is done, I'm going to fold my base, my already sewn base, into 2 equal halves so as to get the midpoint from one edge, and then I'll go ahead to get my scissors and make a notch at the middle. After that is done, I will set it in place so as to be able to ensure that the midpoint is visible. Then I'm going to get the fabric for my band, and when I get the fabric for my band, I'll also fold it into 2 equal halves so as to get the midpoint, get my scissors and make a notch at both edges, and that's what I'm doing right now. Thereafter, I have my band with the notches at the middle. So I'm going to get the fabric from my base. I'll set it, adjust it and set it in place properly, open it up, then get my band, fold it into 2 equal halves with the fine side inside and the wrong side outside. Ensure that the midpoint of the band and the midpoint of the base align together. I'll get my pin to hold it in place, and then sew from one edge of the fabric down to the other end. and after which I'll get back. Right here I have the band and the base sewn together. That's the front view, and this is the back view. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to fold it into 2 equal halves on the fine side so as to get the middle of the fabric. So I'm going to get my chalk and my ruler. I'll make use of my chalk to, mark the middle point, and then I'll use my ruler to mark it out so that I can get a straight line there. And that's what I was trying to do here, because we're going to be making that gathers. So I've already finished the pleating on the base, so I want to make the gathers at the middle part. Now, having done that, I'll get my matching color of thread, which has already been doubled and added to my needle. So we'll start by passing the needle through the wrong side of the fabric from the band. Okay, so this is me trying to pass my needle in. I don't know, at this point my hand was shaking and I was struggling with it. Eventually it came out, and this is how it looks like. So I'll go ahead to fold down that first pleat and then pass my needle inside through it. Okay, it's out, and then I'll pick the next pleat, fold it into 2, and pass my needle through it at the middle point again, that line that was marked earlier. So in that order, I'll pick each pleated line and then pass my needle through the middle. So I'll do this until I get to the end, the second to the last pleat at the edge. So I've gotten to the second to the last pleat. So I'm just going to pass my needle and thread through it, and that's the end. I'm not going to pass it through the last pleat because that's going to be for sewing. Okay, so at this point I'm going to go back, pass my needle and thread a couple of times so as to secure it, and then cut off the excess thread. So that is what is left. Thereafter, I'll fold my fabric into 2 equal halves, and we're going to be sewing it to form the cap. Now, we want the cap to have a little backdrop effect. So this is how the sewing is going to take place. Sew down the band, then take it to the right side. From the band to the right side, please follow the direction of my hands, and then from the band to the right side, down the turban cap from that long edge to the other short edge, So let me go back and have mine sewn, then I'll get back for us to continue. So this is it after sewing it down. You can see how it is. So please, if you have access to a weaving machine, please weave the edges of your fabric. It makes your work more professional and more presentable, as well as very neat. So I'll get my needle and thread, and then we'll go ahead to make the running stitch. The running stitch is only at one long edge, so please follow the direction of my hand. Okay, only at one long edge. Now this is me passing my needle and thread in and out. I'll do that until I get to the edge of the fabric. So right here I'm done making my running stitch. I'm turning my cap inside out. So I have my gathered or pleated turban cap ready, and then now we can proceed to work on the 2 roses design that will be added on it. For my rose design, I have both pieces of fabric here. I'll start by getting the first piece of fabric. I will fold it into 2 equal halves with the fine side inside and the wrong side outside, then place on my sewing machine and sew it down from one end of the fabric down to the other edge. Then also repeat the same thing for the second piece of fabric. Sew from one end to the other, and then turn the fabric inside out, just like I have here. Okay, this fabric has already been turned inside out. This is the first piece of fabric. Now I will get my fabric and get my measuring tape. To achieve that rose design, we're going to be making a running stitch through the entire length of the fabric. So I will have to get my needle and thread. Please ensure that it is doubled. Your thread is doubled and knotted at the edge. Start from this short edge. Start by folding your fabric in. just as you see me doing. Then pass your needle and thread through it and make your running stitch. So as I fold my fabric in, I'll pass my needle and thread through it to form that running stitch till I get to the edge. So the same thing I'm doing for this first short edge. When I get to the other short edge, I also have to repeat the same thing. Now, as soon as we're done with the short edge, you still extend your needle and pass it into that long length, okay? So I'll just keep doing this, keep making my running stitch like this until I get to the end of the fabric. So I'm going to go off camera to complete this and then get back. So this is it. I'm back at this other shorter edge and I'm folding my fabric in and passing my needle and thread through it. So this is it, and then I'll pull my thread, pull until I have this ruffle, this tight ruffles fabric. So then I go ahead to arrange my fabric so as to give that rose design. Now you turn your fabric round and round in a circular pattern so as to get that round rosy shape, and that is what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so as soon as you get to your desired shape, you make use of your needle and thread and then tack it through at the middle so as to hold it in place. And also remember that the same thing has to be done for the second piece of fabric. So I'm going to go off camera to secure this, and as soon as I'm done, I'll get back for us to continue. As soon as all that is done, I have two pieces of my fabric rose right here all sewn down. So I will get my turban cap, which is this. Now we're going to be placing the roses on the cap. Now based on the gathers or the pleats that we made earlier on the cap is somehow divided into two parts, the left side and the right side. So I'll be placing the roses on each side of the cap, and then I'll get my needle and thread again to tack down each of the rows down to each side of the cap. Okay, so this is me still still trying to make unnecessary adjustments so as to get the settings right. Then I'm going to pass my needle from the wrong side of the cap upwards into the rose design, and then I'll take it back in just like that till I've completely secured it to the cap. So I'll complete this when I'm done for the first design. I'll also attach the second design on the other side and tack it down. Then I'll get back to show us the final outlook by placing on my dummy head. At this point, I'm done with all tacking and my design is ready to be worn. This is how it looks on my dummy head. So spectacular. Thank you so much for watching. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't, and don't forget to like, to share, and to leave a comment in the comment section. Bye.